Andrew?
I mean, and we also had the same idea, but if, I mean, penning them up isn't possible, definitely having a buddy system and a cutting horse would be decent.
Okay,
Pretty
so,
cool.
Separation.
Separation, yeah, separation is the big key here.
horses, hares,
Yeah.
Dogs work too.
dogs. Okay. Who was your report?
So we said something kind of similar, but first of all, to see if you can split up the mother and the calf.
Okay.
So that way, when you're working on the calf, the one can't match it.
Okay.
We pretty much probably already discussed it, but like having a vehicle or something like that, so.
So having proper equipment might be more beneficial to him. Okay. Good job. You can go back to your seats, and we're gonna do our exit tickets. Keep setting this thing down. Okay. Our exit tickets today are gonna be to write the 3 major rules for the land lab again on your paper, just to reiterate them. And again, these are not all the rules that are in our land lab safety packets that you're gonna get tomorrow. But if you can follow these 3 rules, you've pretty much followed everything else that is gonna be in your packet tomorrow. And again, tomorrow, we're gonna be at the land lab. You guys are gonna get your land lab safety packets, and our farm manager is going to be a guest lecturer, and she's gonna discuss all the different rules and different species that the rules are going to be variant for. I'll collect your exit tickets. Just give me the paper. I thought I did really good on like questions and like doing lots of questions and lots of review and discussion in this. But I felt we could have gone a lot more in depth as to like the 3 major topics that we were talking about. And I feel like I was really short on time as well.
Yeah, no, you were fine on time, you were 24 minutes.
Oh, really? Oh.
And I think that goes to show you, so I guess I'll kind of go first in the comments and then people can add as well. That goes to show you how fast time goes when you have very organic, genuine discussion. So that was the purpose of this lesson, was to provide and facilitate student discussion. So that was excellent. How you did that, you showed that video, you did the think, pair, share, where you partner people, we discussed it, and then discussed it as a class. So I thought that was really good. One thing that you could have done, and this is just, I don't even know if I would have done this or not, but it's kind of where it really creates even more discussion. So you have pairs, then you discuss it as a table, and then maybe as a class. But I don't think it needed that. That's just another option. You can kind of mix it up a little bit with discussion. I like how you had a different person in the pairs report back to the class as well. So I got everybody talking. What other comments?
I really like the activities.
Like this one? Yeah. But this is one of my
Questions and
this is one of my favorite activities from high school that we used to do.
I like the ball idea, but you should probably try to put more general questions on it, or like one thing I've seen is put numbers, and then like, you just do like different questions with every week maybe. So you do that activity more
Oh,
often.
so I could like reuse this?
Yeah, cause if not, you'd have to like run it
That's
off, if the
true.
sharpener doesn't come off.
Like,
I didn't
you
think about
as the
that.
instructor have a printed out sheet of the number and then the question that corresponds to that number. Nobody gets tossed around, it's like, well, number one, and then you ask the
Yeah.
question.
Or even a beach ball with colors.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
have your colors. So you may have a couple questions per color too, like colors are maybe categories.
Mhm.
So in that way, you don't get to the point where, oh, someone already said this question, oh, someone already said this question, where you can
Yeah,
give them a new question that you
I
have.
didn't even think about that, I was just trying to relate it back to a review ball.
That's a really good activity, and that's great for people that are more kinesthetic learners as well, because it gets them kind of excited, and they get to toss a ball and catch it, and younger kids especially like that. And college kids.
And then Andrew comes in and goes, mine.
I thought your, feedback on our answers was good.
I enjoyed the, yes, the, was it change slides basically on the phone.
Okay.
Not necessarily a bad thing, she spelled that wrong.
I know, I spelled what wrong?
Land.
I'm dyslexic, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Land,
I
land.
didn't even notice.
Land.
Pins, okay, so pins is spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Pins?
I first-
You spell it pins, not pens.
P-E-N-S.
It's P-E-N-S.
I'm actually stupid.
No, the English,
Land.
the English language is just
Fair.
failing you.
I was looking at it, I'm like, I feel like I spelled that wrong. I'm actually stupid. Yeah.
I think you did a good job with the rules, they were nice and open, but they're not gender specific, because then the kids can like, if there's like, oh, well, it's not this and this, so you're very, the rules are very open for interpretation for you.
Yeah, cause I mean, I thought about like actually finding like someone's land labs like rules, like a piece of paper to give you, but they're like really, really long and very detailed. So I figured if I gave like really broad ones, that it would be like, if you can follow these 3 core things, you've probably hit everything else as well.
Just a couple minor things too, where we're talking about the rules. So I noticed on your objective, that was students will follow the land lab rules with 90% accuracy.
I had 100 and I feel like that was
Yeah,
wrong.
but I don't think it's necessarily wrong, because especially if it's safety, so a lot of times before they go out and maybe they're allowed to go into the land lab or whatever, you probably wanna have them pass a safety quiz. So even if it's 100%, you know, if it's very basic stuff, so 3 or 4 things, they should probably know those 3 or 4 things with 100%. And I think by giving them a quiz or something like that too, you know, maybe at the end of this lesson completely, or, you know, in a couple days, you can save that quiz, so if they were to get hurt, you would have some sort of backup as a teacher saying, well, you know, you passed this quiz and this was your quiz in order to go out and work, so it kind of covers you a little bit as well.
I have
Maybe
in one
even-
of my lesson plans to do a safety quiz
Yeah.
that your parents have to sign.
Yeah, so I think that's really good.
I think it'd have been good, I know you didn't have to do it because you made time well, but have a, like, an example video of how to handle processing a calf in that scenario, like out in the field, because we spent so much time talking about it.
That actually was not on purpose. That just kind of came up and the discussion just kind of flowed that way. That wasn't the idea that I had written down for this activity. It was just supposed to be like, what safety things did he not follow? But then it ended up going into a really good discussion about like why and where and how, and so I just kind of let it roll. So that was a happy accident.
And then I think just the last thing, just one real quick, something very, very minor for an area of what you may think about. So I thought your review was great, and your bell ringer was really good. But then for your interest approach, I'm not sure if your interest approach was the bell ringer activity or not, but make sure that interest approach really ties directly into a specific topic of what you're talking about today. So I
Yeah.
thought the bell ringer kinda did, but
Yeah,
it's
the
kind
bell
of
ringer's
a
supposed to be the interest approach,
a
but
blend.
yeah.
So then you may want to review a little bit before you do the interest approach, because the interest approach should lead straight into today's stuff. So I think if you do the interest approach first, and then a review, and then objectives, the interest approach, the purpose of that's kind of lost. Because then the interest approach is supposed to get, okay, this is kind of cool, I want to learn about it right now, and instead of
Yeah.
going to the review.
Yeah,
But that's just something kind of minor.
I had it flipped where it was a review first, but then I'm like, well, Cause I've always come into a classroom and the bell ringer's like the first thing that you do.
Yep.
Which is why I had it, like, I was flipping it back and forth, and then my roommate decided to do this for a second.
So, overall, good job. I like it. Okay, Michelle.
Wait, I know what time.
Yeah, we got what, 17 minutes? Yeah, let's go ahead. If we go to the point where maybe like 5 minutes after our time, so if we go up to 1:45 or something, I might just cut you off. You won't lose points because I cut you off.
Okay.
Okay. So that's forward, back.
Okay.
Yeah, look at the, it's gonna block a lot. It's in the middle of campus. It's like in the lawns between here and like, behind the house. You should probably be able to see it. We painted it sand block wall. Well, they were still painting it on the wall. I don't know if they take it down. I really like that number. If I was like teaching, I would do it better. Like,
Okay, so Michelle, go ahead and kind of set the scene here. What class is this and what grade level?
This is Animal Science 1, Intro to Animal Science, and we're, this is grade level 9 or 10.
And you start whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello class. Today we're going to be discussing how to break a calf. So just to recap from last week we talked about cattle anatomy, so the body parts of the calf and like the functions for each body part. And we also discussed the meat cuts, so like the forequarter cuts and the hindquarter cuts of the calf. So our objective for today is students will be able to properly tell how to halter a calf from the knowledge acquired from the lesson with at least 85% accuracy, and students will be able to identify incorrect ways of how to halter break a calf with 100% accuracy. So why do we halter break our calves? Rebecca? So we can show them, right? Is there any other?
So you can control them.
Yes. Does anyone else have any other answers? Good. So pretty much we do halter break our calves so we don't end up in a position like this, and for showing as well. So we have different types of halters. The first one would be a rope halter. The next one would be a training halter, and then the last one is a show halter. So which halter do you believe is the first halter to start off with when it comes to haltering the calf? Rebecca? The middle one, the training halter. Okay. Austin?
Andrew, I was.
Yeah, well, it depends on the size, like maybe if it's a real little calf, you could get away with the rope halter.
Right.
But if it's like 500 pounds or like in that range, I would definitely start with the training halter.
Right. So both of you guys, all three of you guys are right. I pretty much prefer the rope halter because of like the leverage you have and like the spacing. Or you can start off with the training halter, it all depends on your personal preference. So how do you halter break a calf? So first you have to catch the calf. I wouldn't particularly catch it in this manner, but I would take a lasso and probably lasso it around the neck and then round it up and probably place it inside a pen. Next, you must put the halter on the calf, and then you have the training halter, or you can use a rope halter as like this one right here. I don't know if anyone wants to pass it around. If not, it's totally fine. If anyone wants to see it, it's fine. Next, you should leave the halter on for about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what do you feel like is comfortable for you. So I give you guys a second to put your name, fill out the first and two. So after we left the halter on, during that time period, you should frequently be around the animal. So what are some things you can do to frequently be around the animal? Morgan?
Feed it
Yeah.
twice a day.
Austin?
Made it.
Yeah. Rebecca, did you?
Just being there with it, just sitting there.
Right. I agree, so like feeding it and talking to it, you can kind of just let it smell you, bathing it like Austin said, like all those things are like, ways to be around the animal more. So the next step you should do is to tie the calf up. So why should we tie the calf up? Morgan?
Because instead of them pulling you, you could tie them up and they'll just fight the halter themselves, and they're gonna be heavier than you and stronger than you. Then you will lose that battle.
So this gets the calf used to being confined and gets get it used to being standing up, and like you said, it gets them to fight the pole instead of you and dragging you. So next you should work on leading after you are comfortable with the calf. So how often do you think it is recommended to work with the calf? Correct. So every day if possible, I would go out and try to work with my calf, work on leading it, get him used to me. So next, I want to show you 2 videos, and I want you guys to write down what you think about each one. Mr. Copeland? So the first one has a little kind of cursing in it. Do you want me to mute the audio period, or
That's up to you as a teacher.
it's up to you? Want me to mute it?
It's up to you as a teacher, whatever you think is best.
Okay, I'll just mute it.
Hey guys, halter braking your calf. So when that calf comes home, you wanna continue to work with them, and continue to put a halter on them, and continue to walk them around. And these are a couple things you can do to help ensure that that goes very successful. First off is you wanna have a pen, you wanna have a small area that's enclosed. 30 by 40 is probably the largest area you want, preferably a little bit smaller than that, even a 10 by 10 or 12 by 12. It allows you to approach the animal and it allows them not to run away so much, so you're not having to chase them all over the place. The second thing is getting the halter correct. I like to take the big loop on top and then have a small loop on bottom. The big loop is gonna go over their head, over their ears. The small loop is gonna go over their face, and this bottom part's gonna go underneath their nose so that I can pull up on it. When I pull up on that, it puts a little bit of pressure on them, and that is why they choose to move with you, is because they feel that pressure. So let's go ahead and start, and we'll pick out a calf and see if we can't put a halter on it. One thing I try to do is when I'm approaching the calf, I always put my hand down so they can smell me, and then I try to touch them to let them know I'm here and let them know everything's okay. It's also very important that you're talking to them as well. They respond very, very, very positively to your voice, and they listen for you. Hi girl. Hi girl. Okay. Now, if your calf runs away like that, it's really important that you're persistent with them and you continue on with them. Don't give up, don't stop. Even if it takes 5-10 minutes, continue to walk after her until you get that halter on. Then she knows when you come in the pen, she is going to get a halter on. Hi girl. Go to the back. I'm starting to feel that she's calmed down and that she's going to allow me to approach her. I don't see that she's nervous. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put her on the halter on her. Big part. There it is. Small part on the nose. And we've got it. Once I put the halter on, I'm going to pet her. Let her know I'm here. I'm going to touch inside her ears. I'm going to go ahead and touch inside her nose as well. Let them know that you're safe and you're not going to hurt them at all. Once I've done all that, I'm going to start trying to walk her a little bit. If she's in this place and I can't walk forward, I'll go ahead and just turn her. And she's going to follow. Her head's going to follow because I'm pulling her. Once I start to try to walk her forward, if she's stubborn like that, I'm going to put a little more pressure on. I might lean back a little bit. And then she's just going to walk. Once she does that, I'm going to tell her how good she's doing. Good job, good job, good job. Brush her a little bit. Give her some reward for doing that. All right, pull her a little bit more. And now she's walking with you a little bit. Again, I'm going to tell her good job. Folks, that's all there is to it. Have fun.
Okay, so for a couple seconds, I want you to turn to your partner and discuss some of the things you found that were good in the video and some of the things that you found that are bad.
Yes. I think I'm probably not sure.
You don't,
Can you turn the audio on?
pulling it without looking.
That was, that's not really good.
The first time you tried it,
Right, like,
you fell off and then catch it.
he's screaming.
Which goes back into the
His English was fine.
The first one was just terrible. The second one, he's wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, let's see.
He's explaining, he's very calm about his approach. He knows how to put on the halter correctly.
I like how we explained how they did the pressure.
I have the cat.
Yeah,
But he,
yeah,
the dog did it.
well edited.
Yeah, especially.
Okay, so we can discuss as a whole, so does anyone want to discuss what they liked about the first video, what they didn't like about the first video? Awesome. Andrew, sorry.
Consensus of our group was to not ride cat,
Right.
you know,
Why can riding the cat be bad?
it's not okay.
And you give up all your control,
Right.
because the calf's got awful feeling when you got a toe from that video. And so the calf's gonna go where the calf wants, not where you want the calf to go.
Right. Listen, Sam.
Yeah, we're gonna comment on that, so like, people lose control and so it gets stressed, plus he looks like he's having too much fun.
Right.
It's not good.
You also don't like lead the calf by just tugging along behind you. You wanna like try and work with the calf, look at the calf, because if you're chugging along, tugging it behind you, you don't know when the calf's gonna bolt or do something crazy, you're gonna have rope burn.
Right. What about the second video? Morgan.
One consensus that we did have in our group is don't wear flip-flops when you're going. Probably not the best choice of footwear.
Rebecca.
He did it, you know, he worked slow with the calf and took his time and was persistent with it.
Does anyone have any other comments?
She shouldn't have put the halter on from behind. I realize it's a small calf and he was trying to keep her pinned in there, but she would still kick you.
Right.
So it won't hurt her.
But I did really like on the video how we discussed like how halters, like how the pressure works on a halter and how it works. I thought that was a really informative part of the video.
I thought it was very related.
Okay, so which video did you guys like best? Figured. Okay, so if we do start off with the rope halter, why do we transition to a train halter instead of just keeping the rope halter?
Because with the train halter, you will have more control over a bigger animal than you will with the rope halter because you're able to put on more pressure and it's more comfortable than a rope halter.
It's also, it would be a nice transition to a show halter, where if you went in the ring and you just had a rope halter on and all of a sudden you have a chain on them, they're gonna be like, well, freaking out a little bit.
So why don't we use a halter like this when we're first starting out? Why don't we use a show halter? Austin?
Because it's very, very easy for a cat to slip their hood out the shoulder.
Right. So the show halter is a chain can come off and it can pretty much be just like this. With the halter, you pretty much have to attach a lead rope to this section right here, and this chain does not come off. So does anyone have any questions about haltering a steer? Or a calf in general? Austin?
Okay, what is the best way to do it if you are laying loud and our sheets broke?
Interesting. I would probably say to try to maybe find a smaller area. I wouldn't try to do it in like a large pasture because that'd be pretty hard, and especially with the pasture having other animals. So if you can probably just like get in a gated area or something like that, I feel like that would be the best way.
When you said to leave the halter on for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, like what happens if they get like really sore from wearing a halter?
That happens. I would say to probably try to take it off, but I would try to leave it on for at least about a week or so. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, so next week, be sure to wear your long pants and shoes because we're actually gonna go out into the pasture and try to foster a cat. That's it.
Nice job. So we're 2 minutes past our time to leave, but just real quick, maybe a couple things that you thought you did really well, and then some areas in which you can improve.
Probably showing the videos, like showing actually how to come, what to do and what not to do. And I know that I'm always rushing and like talking fast because I get nervous, so I know I can definitely improve on that.
Okay, general comments?
I like the sheet. It's very good to keep the students engaged and following along.
Rebecca?
I like that there's pictures of the steps.
I actually like your pace.
they were saying like to use a training halter at first, and you were like, well, really, you can use a rope halter or a training halter, and you talked about like different variables and like how a lot of it's up to preference. So when like if some people were like use rope halters for some reason, or for some reason they decided to break with show halters, I don't know, like they wouldn't feel like alienated and like that they were wrong.
I think you could have showed a video of using a shooter head catch, because,
Or say,
what?
or like describe what it is first.
Yeah, but I think that it's really part of what goes into haltering your calf more than anything, because it's much safer than tying them up. So I think that would be a good way to do it, because I would assume that if you're doing it in class, we'd have a head catch, just for safety reasons, if anything.
Just a couple things, so I agree with those comments as well. Overall, I thought you did a good job. I agree with Vicente that your pace was actually a little bit better, I think. Whether you're quite as fast, so maybe still a tad bit quick going through some of the stuff, which leads to, like, if you slow down a little bit and just have more like open discussion, I think that might work a little bit better. But again, it's kind of like your teaching style as well. Just a couple other things for improvement. So I really like the handout, but maybe tell students, okay, as we go through this, make sure to fill out the things. I'm not sure if you did that or not. And then again with video 1 and 2. So show the video, make sure you're filling this out. And that's really good because that's almost like an individual, think about it, and then you need to pair and you need to share. So that's a great technique to use for discussioning. For discussion, give them questions to write out in advance. And that allows individuals to think about it and process it themselves before they go into a group discussion. So, good job. Okay, make sure that you hand back those little white slips, and that is all I have. So, if you want to, remember, if you ever want to schedule a meeting time with me, just send me an email. I'll be more than happy to meet with you to talk about either